Good evening from Pakistan. Good evening from Dubai. I'm based in Dubai. Our panelists are based in Pakistan, in Islamabad, in Lahore. Good morning, US, and our audience from US universities and the US educators. Today, we've been joined by a great company, a great educationist from Pakistan, Ms. Safia Qasim. She's the country head, Beacon House. Then we have Ms. Rabia Sohail. She is the head of CAPS program, a city school. And then we have Ms. Kanza, and she is leading the TMUC program. Just a bit of background about all of us. We have worked in the realm of Pakistani higher education, Ms. Safia Qasim being there. And just to add, she is one of the person that I'm here today as an educator speaking and representing Pakistan. Kanza Tahir being a great friend, and she's been managing the region in different capacities in top elite schools. And Rabia, I think she is taking care of, countrywide counseling program in the city school. So all of us have a bit of, landscape that we could share the crux of Pakistan and how things work in Pakistan. Now, who we are as Simple Ed, we are a US-based company that helps US universities does their outreach to India, Pakistan, Middle East, Asia, and Central America and Latin America. What do you think of, the cultural nuances and preferences of Pakistani students? What happens when a student reaches high school in Pakistan, whether it's A-levels, IB, or the matriculation system? And what are their preferences when it comes to understanding Pakistani students? So we'll move forward to Ms. Safia Qasim first, if she would put some light on this topic, please.
Assalamu alaikum. Good evening. Thank you so much, Masud, for your very kind words of introducing me. I'm the country head for Beacon House International Colleges. Now, coming to your question, you've said that what do the students think about the cultural and the other, their preferences when they want to leave the country? That's your question, isn't it? When they are moving out of the country.
Exactly.
I think mostly it's more than our students. It's mostly the parents who are the decision makers at this age if they leave after their high school, either it's IB or O level or matriculation, because the culture that we have in our social, social setup, it's the parents who take these decisions. And for parents, it's very, very important to understand that this child will be safe and secure, and this child will be provided all those facilities which the student or the child has been looking for. Since we have a system, a social fabric where the students and these children at this age are really taken care of, and their basic requirements of daily life are taken care by the adults who are in the house, and the house help is also available. So I think one of the major, concerns that the parents have or the students have is that then it's the food preferences also. That is also one of the preferences that the parents want to look at, and the students also want to look at. And I think another fear or the scare that is there is about the Pakistanis being dealt with, and how they're going to be dealt with, because the way they have been portrayed to the most of the world, that is also one of the concerns. And another important area that our parents look forward to and they look at is what is the value return for that particular course or the training or the education that the child is taking. So what will be the return in terms of money? Would the child be able, would the student be able to come back and earn that kind of money for himself? And would there be enough, that kind of return to money? So I think these are the main, uh, things that as a parent one looks at when we talk about a Pakistani parent or the student who is moving out of the country after his high school or her high school.
think that was really rightly said, Safia. I thoroughly agree with, it's mostly the parents that, that decides, and the preferences always come from parents looking at, the value of education, the cultural norms. So same question from Rabia. What do you think, Rabia, your input on this topic? Can we unmute, Nish, can we unmute Ms. Rabia?
Yeah, sorry. So Pakistani culture is quite different, than American culture. And when the students are going abroad, obviously they are very excited. US is one of the preferred destination, but we have to prepare them on our end also, that it's going to be culturally different. And obviously when they go to universities, they understand. I think there should be more international community. It's good if that area has more Pakistanis, or they can get, if the university helps them get connected to a Pakistani community or South Asian community, in that way, that will help them settle down. And obviously their preferences with food, their preferences with, generally it's different. So if they have restaurants, or which offer Pakistani food, or campus can have some days which have Pakistani cultural, so then that can help them get adjusted to the university. So I feel in bigger cities, if they are more there's more Pakistani communities, so bigger, they can go into bigger cities. Smaller colleges, in that way, I think would be difficult for them to adjust. Cultural shock obviously they get if they're going trans country to study.
Well, that's brilliant. And coming from Lahore, talking about transition and food, and especially when students go to, international destination, the transition counseling is a big part of it. And in my previous job as a counselor, I think this was something that we used to prepare our students for. Like, once you would go, the cultural shock, the charm of a place, whether it's California, New York, or London, would be over in 7 days. Are you ready for the transition? So Rabia, well done. I think that's a great point, that the US institution should have in mind. There should be a very active transition program for students coming from Pakistan, and for that reason, even India as well, because we are very culturally rich and we are very different to the international cultures. Now, same question for you, Kanza. In your role, in your previous and your current role, what would you think that students from Pakistan, their preferences and the cultural norms and nuances that they would keep it in mind while deciding about US and North American education?
Yeah. So firstly, I agree with Ms. Safia Qasim and also Ms. Rabia Suhail. They explained it really well. But now, things are getting different, and students really want to accept it by different society and culture. And they're willing to learn in culture diversity, and they want to get the exposure of new cultures as well. And I think so they learn a lot from students, and they with different culture backgrounds and preferences. So obviously there is a cultural shock, but again, the students are now willing to accept different cultures and to learn more things about different cultures as well. So this is just the point I want to add in. Yeah.
I think, coming from Beacon House City School and other elite school system in Pakistan, the way their events and their, the whole, grind of the mill in high schools, arranged, the students are then getting prepared for their transition abroad. The political factors that influence decision making, whether it's, a certain, you know, uh, advocacy, a certain individual in a seat in US that have the visa regulations stringent for Pakistani students, whether that economical reasons as well. The Pakistani currency has been dropping, or rather a free fall, I would say, it for the last 1 year. So what would you think, Rabia, of having what influences the Pakistani students and their families when they look at North American universities?
So, so currently our economy, as in politically, as well as our we are in a bad shape. Clearly, we are in debt. The dollar is depreciating every day, so our currency is devalued. So and American education has become very expensive. And it is tough for students to afford, as in for parents to afford the education, US education. If the scholarships, if our students get good scholarships, that is ideal, for them to stay, because even with scholarships, it's tough for this parents to send students to US. So I feel that we have to take our economy into perspective, because with if they get the students get admission, by the time they decide to leave, the value of the currency has devalued more. So with that, still the students want to go, they want to learn, they want to experience US education. But I think universities need to rethink their strategy, to cater Pakistan. I think they need to come up with more scholarships, more financial aid opportunities, so that students can afford US education.
I think that's really rightly said. I was in a forum, international forum, and we spoke about the Pakistani diversity and the caliber class Pakistani student bring to the equation. So keeping in mind the political scenario, it's been like ever since, like 20, 30 years, we haven't been having a stable political system. So we spoke about it, and having the US universities, especially understanding our, economic condition as well. So Ms. Safia, what would be your take on this question, because you sit in an elite position where you understand all these political unrest, and the economy has troubles for many years. So what do you think the Pakistani student and their decision making, and especially their families, affect whatever is happening in Pakistan?
Okay, Mansoor, the political situation of Pakistan has been unstable, and it gets stable and unstable, and then again stable. So that kind of a situation is there. So, but I think Pakistani students who go to America or any other country, they have always proved themselves to be real bright students. So they are always welcomed in these countries, and these universities have always come up with some special concessions for these students. But looking at the economic situation of our country, if you look at it, we anyway have a very small percentage of student body who who are able to go out of the country to pursue higher qualification, higher education. But I think with the possibility of TNEs in Pakistan, it is becoming more and more accessible to a larger number of students. For that reason, we do see a lot of foreign universities coming to Pakistan. But I think there is a gap when it comes to the American universities or that side of the country, that side of the globe. I think that is the area these universities would want to consider about, because I think that it may be a good plan for them to allow 3 years in Pakistan and then 1 year qualification there, so that the students do get that kind of for the postgraduate, so that the students do get or undergraduate, so that students do get that kind of exposure also and experience as well, and the issues that we are facing related to the economic situation, that is also to some extent manageable.
Rightly said. I think in our last meeting in Islamabad, I think you did, share the same, feedback and even suggestions to the North American or U.S. universities for that, for that matter of fact. So the roller coaster that Pakistan economy or politics having, there has to be a smarter way of addressing Pakistani students, and having a 2+2 or a 3+1 program would make it more viable and affordable. So I think that's a very good suggestion to U.S. universities. Kanza, if I might take your prospect on this topic, what would you think would make it more viable for Pakistani students and families, knowing that the economy is in bad shape, and the dollar rupee ratio, or the expenses that the student might cater? So apart from scholarship or a 3+1 2+2 program, what would be your suggestion to the US universities to influence their decision making for North American universities?
Okay, so we all know about the economical situation of Pakistan, the devaluation of Pak rupee, the political instability, but still students are really looking forward to study abroad. So they are looking for exclusive scholarships. and some form of financial aid. And we all know that parents are the decision maker because of our cultural norms as well, and because the students are really financially dependent upon their parents. Due to financial crisis, they need some relaxation, some aid, scholarship, grant, anything from the university. So what I suggest is that scholarships should not be only based on the academic performance or result. They should give some scholarship to students based on their extracurricular activities. Some students are good at arts, some students are good at sports, and some are good debaters. So they can give exclusive scholarship, different type of scholarship to motivate different students to come up and study abroad and just have the exposure of this they're studying in US universities. Thank you.
Brilliant. I think a full round student is what you meant, that if they have to look at the academic side of it, they have to also look at the career readiness, or whether they've been a part of any organization, they start anything, any volunteering. So I think that's rightly said. And my question would start from Kanza, that the importance of adding the niche courses in the curriculum. So we prepare students specifically for streams, and in some rare cases in Dubai specifically, we go undecided. We just we want the teenagers to just go and empower and go to US universities with an undecided majors and then decide after their first 2 years. How would you as educators think that it's important to add such courses to your curriculum to enrich it, to prepare the students for what's to come in US?
Okay, so basically, when students are going abroad and they want the exposure of studying in US universities or other destinations, so I think so some courses like language courses where we can, if a student's going to Germany, there should be a German language course, or students going to China, Chinese language course, because these courses like, for example, history related courses, cultural related courses should be also in the part of the curriculum, which can show the impact on the students' life as well, because students have know that these are the basic things they have to do whenever they want to enter or any university.
Brilliant. Rabia, what's your take on preparing curriculum and courses where students, they are actually world ready or US ready? And I took this point of having the US history more in their curriculum to understand where they're headed and what are the socio-political factors in US with the moving pieces. So what would be your take on this topic?
I feel that if you want the students to be more integrated in that system, but they want, if and you want the as in South Asian perspective also, then you would want that they have South Asian history, or developing economy courses on Pakistan economy, or so they understand the Pakistan aspect as well. And also if because undergrad education is very important. After they do the undergrad, they get into the job market, so they need to understand. Now the students have to work globally in the global market. If they don't get jobs in US, they can get jobs in Middle East, or they can come back to our own country and work. So for that, they need to be job ready as well. So they need to study courses which are more aligned with the job market. And if you feel, if this niche courses can be in sense of more, if they want to have the South Asian perspective and the US perspective, basically.
I think rightly said, especially preparing students with the trends, the career trends, and the new jobs, and preparing them for what to come after 5 or 4 years of their graduate program, or in some cases 6 years, to come back and see those opportunities might be lying new jobs. So rightly said. Miss Safia, what would you think, being a curriculum champion, what we could add from the Pakistani standpoint for students to prepare them for the streams and the careers?
Mansoor, I will, slightly disagree with what these two very esteemed ladies have said. I think, it is the time when we ourselves don't know what the future looks like, and what subjects our students will be studying, and what kind of professions are going to be there. So I think, on the other hand, the world is more like global. So I don't think so that it matters more to study about the history or the geography of a particular place where the student is, but it is important to equip the student with the skill that is required for the future professions. So I think we should look at adding certain courses which are skill based, because the knowledge is nowadays available in abundance, but skill is something that is very much related to humans. So that's where we need to work on. And the after the research, certain jobs that we know of that are coming in the future, we need to start teaching those in the form of maybe short courses or in the form of proper courses, and start preparing our students for the unknown future.
Brilliant. I think that's bingo. That's like darting. What I think of skill-based market is like if English is a language, where is the skill? Where's debating? Where is argumentative, knowledge to go and put on a table and talk about your differences? So I think, yeah, skill-based. That's what you rightly said. And adding those skill-based courses would really help students prepare for the unseen. Like if a student's graduating with a physics or with a computer science majors, but having no skill-based knowledge of data sciences, how would he be a data scientist? So that's a great point to add. And now, I would start off from Rabia. Rabia, building strong relationships with local educators. How important it is for the US universities to come to Pakistan, to Islamabad, Lahore, Karachi, and build those relationships with the local educators there and make sure, like we just be all talking about scholarships and making it easier, viable for Pakistani students. I would want the educators to remove the middleman like us and connect with the US universities to recommend students. Some students might have a very different challenge to score a 90. The others might be an easy walk in the park. So how important it is to build strong relationships with the local educators in Pakistan.
I think it is essential to not only for the private sector counselors, even visit public sector universities also, and to build relations, because ideally if you go to school, you meet the counselor, you meet the principal, you understand the school, the environment, the student body, and the greater interaction between the students and with the counselor, the more chances the students are motivated and encouraged, and they can see that this is, they can go, because with American education we also have to realize that getting the visa and all the documentation is tough. And if a person, if the university, if the US universities reps, they come on ground, meet the students, interact with the counselors, solve the issues, explain them about the programs, the degrees, the what is the ongoing trends and all, that will really encourage and motivate the students.
So, Ms. Safia, on the same point, so if US universities are in Pakistan, and apart from meeting, the students in career fairs or presentation lectures, how important do you think in your role for the US universities to connect with educators like you?
Mansoor, it's always good to, connect with the relevant people and to find out how we can benefit from each other, and in return, pass that benefit to our students. So it's certainly important, as Rabia has just said, and we must connect more to find out possibilities. It's not only for this reason that we can send the students to a particular destination. It is also maybe we can do some collaborations over here in Pakistan, and that they can also be helpful.
Well, back in the day, that's exactly how Ma'am Safia, expanded the horizons of one of the school system that I work with, because these were sort of the relationships that, bring value add and new trends, new knowledge from people who works in international market, comes to Pakistan, connects with people like Miss Safia, Miss Rabia, and Miss Kanza. So, Kanza, what would be your take on having, because I think you've been in the front line of having those relationships last time when we visited with US educators to Pakistan. So those relationships, how helpful they are once there is a name to a face and a face to a name. Like, Kanza Tahir becomes the face that we met in Lahore. How important those
Yeah. So it's extremely important to have strong relationship with career counselors or any university placement managers you're meeting in city school or head weekend hours, any other institution, because I think so networking is the key. When you are doing networking and you are directly involved with the career counselors, because they are the one who are the decision makers. Indirectly they are the decision makers of the students, and students are directly relying on their career counselors. They're really looking forward that which university will best suits me, because they career counselor are actually doing the detailed research on the students. That's what is the aptitude of the students, what is the interest of the students, and what degree they want to pursue in. So they can definitely guide best or related to the subject selection, subject choices. So when the university, or it's a US university or a UK based university, any university who's directly involved with the career counselor, and they have informed them with all the degree options the university is providing, anything they really need the detailed course outline, and the career counselor is knowing the knowledge of each and everything, it is the best thing which can ever happen to any university. So the relationship is the key, and it's the best way to get into any university. Yeah.
I think it really resonates well with me, being a former college counselor at one of the American schools in Dubai. And for me, having a recommendation letter sent out to one of the universities that I met at a forum in Dubai or anywhere, and then, okay, it's coming from a face to a name and name to a face, that a guy that I know, it really adds a lot of value to that application. And I think, rightly said, I think it's really important, essential for those US universities or North American universities, for that matter of fact, Europeans as well, to come in, have those relationships. It's not only, as Ms. Safia mentioned, the collaboration. There might be always a way, a common ground that you could proceed further, and then removing the middleman and having those relationships for long term could yield potentially a lot of opportunities for students and institutions. And I already have one question from a university, that is, what is the benchmark affordability when you are looking at a US state university for Pakistani student? So what is the benchmark affordability? If a student gets a scholarship, great, gets a financial aid. So in your role, what is the benchmark affordability in dollars for a Pakistani student? Anybody? Would anybody like to take a lead on it?
I think I'll just, we can't see, we can see, we have to see the average, the income that a household is able to earn nowadays. So, with respect to, like, I think $35,000 and $40,000 is the average fee of US universities. And when you translate it to Pakistan rupee, it becomes huge. So we have to we have to see how much we can do, what can be the minimum. We don't want to impact the budget of the university at the end of the day, because I've worked in a university for 12 years also. I understand the university perspective as well, but we have to see how much is the affordability of the, maybe the good application CSS profile that the students are able to, maybe half of it can be the benchmark, if I say, because 40,000 is dollars is huge. And also an undergrad is a 4-year program. So if you suppose compare it with UK university, where the undergrad is 3-year program, our students do A levels, which takes them up to 1 year of university. So, and after that they again do a 4-year undergrad. So maybe if their some of their A level courses are accepted there, that could be helpful. Maybe some courses would be offered them because they've done those courses, those credits in their A levels. So something like that could be should be considered when it comes to Pakistani students, because already they do, like, they're doing O levels, which is a British program, and they do it's still grade 11. High school is less, and then they do A levels, which is another 2 years, which takes them up to university level.
I think before going to Ms. Safia Qasim, I would add that most of the US universities are now considerate of knowing that A levels become a 13-year program, and the US education itself, high school diploma schools, are 12 years. So I think most of the universities are looking into it. Some universities are already transferring those credits to make sure that not a year, but a semester could be waived off. So going back to Ms. Safia, does it depend? Affordability is unique in the schools that we represent, Beacon House City and other schools, or does it vary from cities to cities, or it also depends on each family, the affordability?
I think all the factors that you've mentioned they play their own role, and to be honest, I think it's more about the ranking of the university also, because our parents are aware, and as you know, that Pakistani culture and a Pakistani parent is extremely grade oriented, and similarly the rank oriented. So if you see that kind of ranking of the university, we have evidences of parents who really, really work hard, and they don't mind putting in all their savings for their children's education. So it is very relative, about the affordability, because it may vary from city to city, it may vary from parent to parent, and of course the ranking of the university is one of the major factor.
I think I really thoroughly agree that, because we being ourselves Pakistani parents, and if I'm looking at my kids' progression, I would definitely look into the QS or Times rating, and I'm going to definitely look into even if I'm paying a higher tuition fee to a well-ranked university compared to a second tier or third tier university. So rightly said, Kanza, what would you think from your standpoint in your role, even in your previous role, what affordability, moving pieces are there for a Pakistani student and parent? Is it just a benchmark scholarship, or no, I have this certain, benchmark in my mind, and if a university falls in that, I'm going to go ahead and mature my application?
Yeah. Okay. So affordability depends upon, I guess, city to city as well, and family to family as well. And sometimes, because I was in the market when I was working with City School Network, I saw that people from Gujranwala or Sialkot and other suburbs and other cities, they're more likely to go abroad. So like there are different classes, of course. So the business classes, business class students from business class can afford more, and students who family is into job market and all. So it's depend upon family to family. And some cities are actually like they really people really think about that they have the money and they can go abroad. And other, I think so. It's like obviously it's depends upon the person to person their income, but still the parents are looking this expect like they are doing investment in longer run. So they are investing in their child. If it's a good university, it's a QS ranked universities, and they are investing money in their child, and they are looking for the return. So they are doing that calculation as well. So it's like a long term investment.
Well, thank you so much. I can't thank you enough, ma'am. Safia Qasim from Beacon House, Rabia Sohail from City School, and Ms. Kanza from TMUC. The details of our panelists would be shared on LinkedIn if any of the US university want to outreach for further questions. Thank you so much on behalf of Simple Ed Education as well. We would love to see you in person, inshallah, in Pakistan, finger crossed, or if meant to be somewhere an international destination. My regards to each one of you. Good night from Pakistan, and thank you so much for the US
Thank you
University.
Thank you so much, Mansoor. Thank you for having
Thank you,
us.
Mansoor. Thank you.
It was a
Thank you.
great opportunity.
Everyone, take care, guys. Bye.